Almost 48 hours later, there has still been no Sun Belt reaction to the Pac-12 inviting Texas State to join. It's Locked On Sun Belt.
You are Locked On Sun Belt, your daily podcast on the Sun Belt Conference, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
All right, Dave Schultz, Locked On Sun Belt, your teams every day. Today's episode brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. All right. Excuse me. All right, we're doing something here. I'm recording on Saturday before I head home early Sunday morning, and I'm not sure I'm going to get a chance to record an episode on Sunday, and so I want to have one in the can, as the terminology is, for Monday. Now, if something happens on Sunday or early Monday, I will edit it in, and you'll be able to tell that something happened. All right, but I want to have something raring to go on Monday morning for everybody. All right, although nothing's really changed. We'll talk about who's going to surprise, who could surprise, and I think there's one team that has incredibly low odds that I'm not sure why. We'll talk about that. And then I have a super juicy Sun Belt rumor that I can't tell you what it is, not yet, but it has nothing to do with expansion. All right. It has nothing to do with Texas State or Louisiana Tech or ECU. All right. Can't tell you what it is, but it is a super juicy rumor. All right. We'll get to that later on, though. All right. So no Sun Belt reaction so far. So I'm recording this at just after 7 p.m. on Saturday. All right. So you're probably watching it on Monday. Again, Michael Adams from the Austin Sports Journal reported on Thursday night that Texas State had officially received that offer. It hit the news when we all woke up on Friday. Nothing happened Friday. Nothing happened on Saturday, as far as I know. All right. And so we're all wondering what's going on. I have somebody telling me they think that the Sun Belt should stand pat and wait to see what happens, if there is any more movement. Does UTSA join the Pac-12? Does the AAC start to fall apart? Does Tulane seem to be a more a better potential, right? Although that's still 3 teams from Louisiana, but anyone would tell you, obviously, that Tulane would be a much more inviting school than Louisiana Tech. That's New Orleans compared to Ruston, although that doesn't help Monroe with the travel situation. And so, again, nothing, as far as I know, has changed. No one has told me anything new, per se, other than what we've discussed over the last couple of years. Someone did point out what the Louisiana Tech message boards have said, and they sort of alluded to that they still think that they're above the Sun Belt. They don't want to be in with Monroe and the Cajuns. Although the comments that I saw still seem about a week old. The video that I posted at Jim Beam is on there, where I said Louisiana Tech was getting blocked, and a couple of the reactions to that were good. But I saw other reactions saying this may be the best that they can do. Right. And again, I mean, feelings are still hurt. All right. They don't, people do not want Louisiana Tech in, some for business. Okay. Maybe they don't draw very well, or they've gone in the wrong direction. Right. I mean, they used to draw incredibly well. They used to pack them in. They do not do that anymore, apparently. Right? And it does not help the Sun Belt. All right. I may be on the outside looking in with others. I think that Texas State leaving does hurt the Sun Belt. It does hurt for recruiting. All right. I'm not sure that adding ECU helps for recruiting. I think it helps for Coastal Carolina travel, helps for App State travel. They're already recruiting in North Carolina. I'm not sure how that helps anymore. I think ECU coming in helps the conference overall. But when you're the Cajuns, Monroe, Arkansas State, even some of the, the Mississippi Southern Miss, and maybe even, Troy and South Alabama, if you're going that far, you can recruit Texas. Then you can, the way you get that done is, you're going to go to Texas State and play. The family can see you play in Texas somewhere along the way. That's the way that stuff works. So I do think it hurts. All right. It's not, Middle Tennessee is a nice program. Western Kentucky, not that far from me. Right. It's just down the road a little bit. So I'll have that, if I'm still here in a couple of years. All right. So that is not the worst thing in the world. But as far as I know, there hasn't been any reaction. It'd be very disappointing if we don't see something this week. Basically, it's Monday when you're seeing this. So when this all gets done on Monday, the Board of Regents votes for Texas State to accept the offer. And we all know, that's a fait accompli, right? That's done. This is not going to be voted against by any stretch of the imagination. The Sun Belt needs to do something. Whether they say they've put out invites, they don't have to say to who. All right. Whether they do say who they've invited, they can do that, just like the Pac-12 did. Or they can say they're standing pat. They just need to let people know someone's driving the train, because it kind of feels like they were driving the train 2 weeks ago, but we don't know what's going on now. We're kind of in a pause situation, and they did a good job. Let's be honest. Keith Gill has his faults, but he did a really good job getting Marshall, Coastal Carolina, Old Dominion, and Southern Miss in the last time. I guess Coastal Carolina was already in. But, JMU, Marshall, Old Dominion, and Southern Miss in the last time they expanded. So, and I'm not sure who knew they were coming in at the time until right before it happened. So maybe no news is good news, but we'd certainly like an update. All right. And again, people saying, the state of the Sun Belt is going to be interesting. That's like 3 weeks away. All right. It starts, the Sun Belt Media Days is 3 weeks from tomorrow. Still doesn't look like I'm going. We'll see if we can keep an eye on that. Although I did see plane tickets for less than $500. That's not awful. Try not to make a trip to New Orleans for $1,000, but it was $300 for like 2 days. Anyways, we better know something before the Tuesday of Sun Belt Media Days. Just saying, we need to know something. It would be nice if that was the case. We're going to be caught off. I'd say we'll be caught off guard, but we're going to be behind the eight. Now we're going to be behind the 8 ball. We're just going to be behind. Sun Belt's going to be behind if we don't have a plan of action by the time Sun Belt Media Days rolls around. We're going to be, Sun Belt's just going to be behind. Forget behind the 8 ball. We're just going to be behind. As long as we have an idea that someone's driving the train, I think everyone is a little bit more satisfied than just not hearing anything. So I thought we'd hear something by now. Again, you'll know, I will let you know. Plus the background is going to be different. If we do have a change between Saturday and when this airs on Monday. So we can fix that up really simple. It may just be something off of my phone. I'm landing, have lunch with Mama Schultz, heading off to see a friend, and then coming back. I'm not sure there's going to be time to do such a thing formally. So we will fix things up if necessary. All right. But after Monday, when Texas State announces all of this formally, I'd expect something, a domino to fall. And I will be back on Monday to record for Tuesday. That's for sure. All right. Who could surprise in 2025 when it comes to the football season? I think we have one highly regarded team already. That's surprising me. And we could go from there. All right. we'll talk about that when we come back after I tell you about Game Time. Have you ever decided at the last minute to head to a ball game with friends or family? Maybe it's a game day and you suddenly realize you want to be in the stands. That's exactly where Game Time comes in. It's the easiest way to grab last-minute tickets without the stress. With the money you save on tickets, you can splurge on food, drinks, merch, or even invite a bigger group to come with you. Game Time makes it possible. Game Time makes buying tickets fast and simple. Prices on the app actually drop closer to when you get to the first pitch. And they've got incredible last-minute deals, clear seat views, and a lowest price guarantee that takes worrying out of buying. And that's exactly what I did. It was a while ago. It was opening day for the Reds. They had a big party downtown by the stadium. And then I got ticket right before I was about to leave, and I did save money. I was able to buy some food at the concession stands, which I enjoyed tremendously. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONCOLLEGE, LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. All right, Dave Schultz, Locked On Sunbelt, your teams every day. All right. Who could surprise in 2025? If we're going on FanDuel, James Madison is your favorite. All right. In fact, we may have a couple of favorites here that I'm surprised with. James Madison plus 320. All right. Again, that's Matt Saluka, former quarterback for Holy Cross with Bob Chesney. They are very familiar with each other. All right. Texas State is plus 600. I'm being told by one of the frequent commenters that the quarterback is going to be Brad Jackson. That's the up-and-coming kid compared to, say, the veterans that they got on there. All right. Let me see. He is a redshirt freshman, so that means he'll be a redshirt sophomore. All right. You have Nate Yarnell, who played at Pitt. You have Holden Gurnier, who was at Auburn, although it didn't play nearly as much. And you have Keldrick Luster, who's a redshirt sophomore coming in from SMU. But apparently Brad Jackson is the guy. Didn't play a whole lot last year. 3 games. No, that's rushing. Hold on. Still 3 games, 8 out of 15, 118 yards and a touchdown. So it didn't play a whole heck of a lot. Did a little running, I will say that. 22 attempts, 164 yards, 4 touchdowns. So he can scoot it a little bit, and apparently they used him just to run much more than he was passing. So we'll see. But he's got to beat out some guys that have much more experience than he does. The big surprise that I got here is South Alabama is plus 700. That is the big one that I got because I'm shocked at that because the quarterback transferring to Carolina. All right. And who do they have left? They have it. Isn't it Davenport? All right, that was my nephew, Sam. Sorry about that. All right, so Gio Lopez, the South Alabama quarterback, transferred to Carolina. Can't blame him. $4 million, $2 million per, plus Belichick. You know, although may not be in that order. All right, so again, I don't think they are lost when it comes to that because they did have, and I believe it is, again, Bishop Davenport. They also have, if you can believe this, Bubba Thompson, former big leaguer baseball player who's technically a freshman. He's there. Jared Hollins is a redshirt freshman. He's supposed to be really good. He's from Mary G. Montgomery High School, and he's outstanding. Bishop Davenport is the guy. He's a redshirt junior. He was from Utah State. He played in the bowl game, and he balled out. All right, balled out. That's when Major Applewhite didn't have the quarterback. One of the two running backs wasn't playing. His wide receiver wasn't playing. And they still won a bowl game. That's impressive. That's some good coaching. Dad, don't kid yourself. The ball players ball out, but the coaching was outstanding. I'm a little bit hesitant to think that South Alabama is on the same level as Georgia Southern and Louisiana. Like, I would have had South Alabama way up there. If Gio Lopez was there, like, they'd be my favorite. Although, I'm trying to figure out why Arkansas State is not up there. Arkansas State is plus 2,400. They are not getting any love whatsoever. That I do not understand. You got the same quarterback and the same head coach, and they're, what we said, 5.5 for win totals. All right, so Southeast Missouri, we're going to go 1. At Arkansas, all right, maybe not. Then Iowa State's at home. Are we counting that as a loss? I'm going to tell you, I don't know anything about Iowa State, outside of Brock Purdy, right? And let's see what they were last year. When I say I don't know anything about Iowa State, I mean what they're going to be this year. Last year, they were pretty good. They were 11. They were 10-3. And they had a great Pop-Tarts Bowl. They beat Miami 42-41. I don't have any idea who's coming back. They did lose to Texas Tech by 1. That was their first loss of the season. And they did lose to Kansas after that. And they did lose to Arizona State in the Big 12 championship game. So they did lose to Arizona State. All right. So they had an outstanding year last year. So, all right, we're going to say that's 2 losses for Arkansas State. They're at Kennesaw State. They're at Monroe. That's got to be 3. They get Texas State at home. It's been crazy, but I'm going to give them, that's it. That's 4. They're at South Alabama. We're going to say, by the way, that's a nationally televised game, ESPN2. They have a few nationally televised games. Iowa State, ESPN2. South Alabama, ESPN2. Cajuns, ESPN. That's 3 just for Arkansas State. That Arkansas game is ESPN Plus. How about Arkansas and Arkansas State playing a football game? I won't see LSU and the Cajuns playing anytime soon, but good for Arkansas to play Arkansas State in a football game. You get Georgia Southern at home. You're at Troy. You get Southern Miss at home. You get the Cajuns at home, and then you're at App State. And we're not seeing 6 wins on that schedule. Southeast Missouri, Kennesaw, Monroe, that's 3. Texas State, I'm going to say 4. Georgia Southern at home, that's 5. At Troy, that could be 6. Southern Miss at home, that's 7. And then do you split one of the 2? Cajuns, App State. All right. Obviously, some of those games could go the other way. I think Arkansas State's pretty good. My other big surprise, I don't know if it's a big surprise, is going to be Old Dominion. They're plus 1,000. They are 3rd when it comes to the East. James Madison, 320. Georgia Southern, plus 700. I like Colton Joseph. And we're going to see how good they are. They're going to play Indiana opening up the season, and we'll see if they can compete with the Hoosiers who are in the college football playoff. All right. And then we're going to wait and see if Marshall is any good. I think Southern Miss is going to surprise only because nobody thinks they're going to be any good. All right. I don't think they're going to compete in the West, although I did hear, I think the guys on the Mississippi Superpower Hour we're talking like 8-9 wins. Jeez. All right. That's amazing because were they 6.5 wins? Let's see here. Win totals. I I didn't think it was that many. I can't remember what they were. Let's see here. Southern Miss win totals 4.5. I'm taking the over for that, but I'm not sure it's going to be double that. I do think they're going to beat Mississippi State. That's what I do think. All right, let's take a timeout. We'll see how I can tiptoe around what is a super juicy Sun Belt rumor. All right, we'll do that after I thank everybody. All right, we still didn't even put out an episode on Saturday. Wasn't going to put one out. I missed a day in there somewhere, and you guys still came to the table. So I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. We're going to be close to 80,000 views. I know those SEC places, lockdown episodes, are probably putting, 200,000-300,000 on the Sun Belt. So we do 25 to 30 if we're fortunate, but we have grown by leaps and bounds. What I was hoping for 100 subscribers, maybe 200 in the month of June. And who knows, maybe by long shot, but maybe by the end of August, maybe 2,500. We're just putting out a round number there. So I do thank you. It is amazing. Still trying to figure out how to get to Sunbelt Media Days. I did put in a media credential request just in case, but I got to figure on travel logistics. But thank you so much. We're going to have a record-setting YouTube thing. And don't forget the audio. Audio is still a good month, although not quite record-setting, but still a very good month. So it is appreciated. Apple Podcast and Spotify. So really do appreciate it. Keep those subscriptions coming and keep those comments coming. I try to reply to as many comments as I can. And when you know it, when I reply, that helps out as well. So thank you so much. All right, Dave Schultz, Locked On Sunbelt, your teams every day. Let me be clear. This has nothing to do with the expansion. Doesn't have anything to do with Texas State. Doesn't have to do with La Tech. And I'm going to try and tiptoe around it. It is just a very juicy Sunbelt rumor. And as a content creator, I'm going to love it. All right. It is a Sunbelt. Again, I'm not the person who told me. I can't say. First of all, it's not confirmed. All right. That's why it's a rumor. All right. I will try and confirm it on my own, maybe first thing Monday morning, if it's not out by then. All right. But I will try to do that on my own. All right. So that's why it's a rumor. It's not been confirmed. But it is juicy and it is fun. And it certainly, it is a little disappointing from one point of view, and certainly amazing from another point of view. So it's a great rumor. And again, from a content creator, you couldn't ask for anything better. I will leave it at that. So it'll be interesting to see how the side that would find it interesting reacts. All right. I know the side that's going to be disappointed is not going to react well. All right. We can do that. All right. All right. If people know what the rumor is, then, it's out there a little bit. All right. A little bit on social media. Again, I'm not going to say it. So again, I'm trying not to trip myself up or anything like that. So, but it is juicy. And again, from a content creator point of view, it will get some engagement. So let's just put it that way. But it will be interesting to see how well it's received. That I'm generally interested in. I know it's how it's going to be received on one end. It's not going to be received well on one end. It'll be interesting to see how it's received on the other end. All right. And again, this is being recorded on Saturday. All of this could be done outside of the surprise part. Could be out by the time Monday rolls around. If the Sun Belt does react I'm going to edit something in there. I guess if the rumor comes out before Monday, it doesn't matter. We'll put it out there. We'll put a quick video out there as well. But it is a super juicy Sunbelt rumor. I mean, it is the all-time tease. I understand that. But it won't be, put it this way, it will not, let's see, it's not going to last very much longer from Tuesday. You'll know about it rather quickly later this week. All right. I'm going to try and confirm it today, Monday. And I'll probably be told when I can say something. You don't want to, get people mad at you or mess things up for some people, whatever the case may be. But if I can confirm it, I will. And usually they, you can't necessarily announce it too soon. That's the thing. So we shall see on how that goes. All right. So again, I am going home. So I'm getting up first thing Sunday morning. All right. We'll land hopefully before noon, a little bit of a crazy flight because I'm going to Chicago. And I don't know if people know this, but Louisville is like the furthest city west in the Eastern time zone. So I'm taking off at 7. I'm going to land in Chicago at 6:30. Very odd. And then I'm flying back. I'm going to lose the hour when I'm flying to Syracuse. So, and then we're going to have lunch with Mama Schultz. And then I'm going to see a friend of mine because he's leaving for a week. Usually he's at home for the whole week that I am, but he's going out of town. So Sunday's the only time I go see him. And it's one of those friends that you go out and have a drink with him. The one night you can see him for the year. So, and I can teach him all about bourbon. He's going to be bored out of his mind. So that'll be fun. But otherwise, I should be able to get, episodes throughout the week. We don't have to do them as much. And I may not if there's no news to report. I presume there's going to be news to report this week. All right. I'm going to be very disappointed if there's no new episode to record on Monday night after dinner. There certainly should be, but we'll see. All right. Certainly the Texas State officially is going to be done, and we will see how the Sun Belt reacts. But we may not. All right, we shall see. All right. Thank you so much for tuning in. Again, we're going to be very close to 80,000 views here by the end of June. And again, should something change in between now and when this video does drop on Monday, I will edit it in and you will notice it, which is okay. All right. Sometimes we, fade it in and out when we have an edit, which may come in here with my nephew making a phone call, but you'll notice it and I won't try to hide it. All right. Thanks so much. Thank you very much for tuning in. You've been watching Lockdown Sunbelt, your teams every day. Have a great Sunday, everybody. You're watching this on Monday, and we'll talk to you again probably on Tuesday.